Welcome, fellow druids. It's been a bit. I'm Chad, Cheddar Caveman, your host, person babbling into the microphone. This is being recorded. I think I'll probably release this tomorrow, but this is being recorded the Monday after Warmachine Weekend. I had today off, so I sort of tried to chill today. But I'm actually pretty busy this week, so I want to get some of my thoughts, at least from Warmachine Weekend. We'll see if I record anything else this week. But I want to talk about the event, how it went, some notable happenings, I guess, or whatever, and just my overall thoughts on it. And just to start, I would like to, just at the very beginning here, thank Carl Morgan for creating and organizing Warmachine Weekend for 15 years. This was the 15th Warmachine Weekend. Carl has decided after this weekend that he will be stepping down from organizing the event. I think it seems, and I don't know enough details on this yet, and obviously the event is now literally a year away before we'll have another one, but I think that there probably could and maybe should be some changes. I think, but I would, first and foremost, before we get to that, and as we'll hear about those later, but I'd really like to thank Carl. The guy put in a lot of really hard work to make an event that is arguably the best, one of the best, if not the best, and that's sort of dependent on time frame, and there's a few factors there, of course, but it's definitely one of the keystone Warmachine events of the year, and that is largely due to Carl's hard work and effort and vision and organization and finding the right people and just charity, really. For me, I know for my wife as well, thank you, Carl. But let's move past that. Let's talk about the event a little bit, what went down. I'm going to talk, Thursday night, Lauren, my wife, Griffin's just painting, which the link is in my show notes still, as always, made the drive down. We had a full car full of stuff. I actually had brought some Judgment. Sadly, did not end up getting a chance to play it. I know she was able to show some people the models, though, so that was fun. But went down with Warmachine and Circle, obviously, and I didn't even take Bones with me. We knew about the dynamic update. I have a video where I talked live about it right around when it happened. Did I talk about Iona? I don't know that I had time. We'll maybe go over that a little bit. I may not get into it too far, but there was an update on Monday. And the Wolf Riders and the Champion and Lord of the Feast had some clerical updates. There were some incorrect postings in there. There was a clerical update to the Rip Warren's Bulldoze rule. And then the rules for Iona, Brigid Call, the Bloodweaver Harvespecs, and the Blood Shaman were all put into War Room. Also, we discovered during the event that the card for the Well of Orboros made its way onto the card database on the Privateer Press website. So this particular episode is not going to be digging too deeply into those things. I think I will, throughout the next month, 2 months, a few weeks at the very least, of time frame, I will be digging into those individual releases a little bit more, as well as some of the updated things, sort of revisiting those. I haven't really done the model entry thing. I kind of went through everything at the beginning of the edition, sort of why I started doing the show. Then I kind of revisited some of the stuff when Bones changes happen, and so this will probably be kind of like that. We'll probably touch on the new things. We'll hit on some of the other things as well. Also, I'm trying to remember, somebody had a show idea for me, and it was a really good idea, and I need to find it. It was on Facebook. I will try to do that show. But if you're the person watching this who had that suggestion, shoot me a private message. I would love to make sure that I don't miss that, because I'm blanking now, but I really remember liking the idea. Anyways, getting sidetracked. But I didn't take any Bone stuff. I wasn't, basically, I'm certainly not saying it's bad. I think it's going to, if you are somebody who really likes Bones, I actually think you may want to continue playing it, because I think in a month, 2, certainly 3 or 4, you're like, I don't think much of that stuff has actually gotten fundamentally worse, but it has changed, and the meta's going to change. But I think that people won't be preparing for a few of those things. So like dropping Brad, I guess, when people aren't really expecting that, could be a big deal, or Baldur 2 and Bones, things like that. But for me, playing Bones was really just something that was not, I just wasn't feeling it. I haven't been feeling it for a little while. That doesn't mean it's bad. It's just me personally. I felt like I felt a little like forced into the pairing, and I felt a little that it was what I was being forced to play. Even though I really liked that the stuff is doing great, and I just was not having fun approaching games that way. So regardless of what happened with the CID, I was not planning to play Bones, so I didn't even bring it. Although Megalith might have been in my bag, but other than that, didn't bring it. But right before the event on Monday, also we had Secret Masters changes. We talked about Devourer's Host changes, Living Beast changes, and then of course the new releases happened. So Thursday night we got there. I have the VIG badge, so I was able to get into the vendor hall, which is great. I was able to pick up all the new Tharn releases. I also got Underboss Meyer, I think his name is. He is a lesser warlock, minion lesser warlock, who's a frog, and we'll certainly dig into. I haven't done a ton of thinking about him yet, but we will certainly dig into him at some point. And then from there, so in Thursday night I spent my Iona list really only needed Iona and Bridget and Call, so I spent some time Thursday night putting them together. Friday morning, I had prior to the event, like Wednesday night, I put a Morvana 1 list that basically had no new releases in it. A Iona list that had basically just Bridget and Call, sort of debated the Blood Shaman back and forth a little bit. And then had I had a Chromac 2 list. So the Chromac 2 list and the Iona list is what I opted to play into the last chance qualifier. The Iona list is very similar to the if you go out and look on Conflict Chamber, you can see the list. You'll see later where anyways, we'll get to that later, but basically the list was double Ravagers with the Pot, Lord of the Feast, Twins, Wolf Riders, ended up being a Feral Stalker. I had a Night Witch, and I think that was basically it. I didn't end up getting Wolf Rider Champions into the list as a result of that. Good or bad, not sure. Anyway, so that's the Warp Husky sighting. Anyways, that's the Iona list I opted for, and then I decided to pair that up with Chromac 2. And he was Getorix, Double Stalker, Double Feral, Wild Argus, 2 Stones, 2 Wayfarers, the Pot, and Lord of the Feast. And so, honestly, looking at this pair, I wasn't really sure when I was going to drop Chromac versus when I would drop Iona. There's a few very notable times, like if I did happen to get paired into something like a Sorcerer 1, where I just knew my infantry was just totally boned. Maybe even things like certain types of shooting lists and things like that that I just didn't think would be, that I thought would be able to do way more work into the infantry and whatnot. So honestly, going into the event, like I said, I was frustrated with Bones. I did not have a lot of time to prep, so keep that in mind. I did not have a lot of practice games. In fact, I probably hadn't had a game in 2 weeks prior to the event, just due to some circumstances around me and what have you. And as a result, here we were, right? So yeah, that was the situation with that. So anyways, to rewind that back a little bit, those were the 2 lists I had. So I was planning to probably lean heavily on Iona from my experience. Most people were going to be inexperienced, and I feel like given the current state of the meta, and we'll be talking about where that's headed in another podcast too, but given the current state of the meta, that I should be pretty okay and do many things, and just hope not to find the things I was not. So that's what we went with. So round one, I got paired. I'm not going to go over anybody's names. All of my opponents throughout the weekend were fantastic. I do have the names, I think, for the most part in my phone, but just so that I don't butcher it or forget it, or, you know, if they don't really want their name on here, that's fine. So, anyways, round one, I got paired into a Minions player. He had Rask and Arcadius, I think. Rask was sort of the I don't know, Zoo. There's another name for it, but it's basically the Zoo build where you've got all the lessers. He did not have Wrong Eye and Snapjaw, but he did have Brune and Lug. He did have Russian Brine, and they had a Battle Boar, and then the Dahlia and Scareth, along with 2 Wrestlers in Wrath Battle Group, and then some support models. And will work for food. And he went first. I got a reasonable table edge, and you know, so we're both going to kind of run up, set up our situation, and then he's likely going to feed on turn 2. And that's absolutely what happened. He sort of slingshotted Brian at me, and the Swamp Horror, he got 1 or 2 Ravagers out of that. He got very little out of that arrangement, fortunately for me. So that went up. They went up. I'm looking and I'm realizing with Rask's feet up, Rask is covering the whole army. I'm not going to be able to get an assassination. I'm not going to be able to get... Lord of the Feast isn't really going to get anywhere interesting. Bridge and Called, I don't really want to expose because they're not going to get a whole lot out of it. And just in general, I'm not going to get much work done. He's given me his 2 heavies, like I said. I feel like I might be able to kill both of them even without feeding. And then the Wolf Riders don't care about the feet. They can sort of walk and jump up. So they sort of did that to harass into Scareth and Dahlia and contest the objective, his flag. This was Recon 2, I believe. And to contest the flag, etc., etc. So that's what I do. I don't quite kill the Swamp Horror, as I recall. I do kill Brine. That does let me score a point, I do believe, on the bottom of 2. But I don't feat because, like I said, I just basically tried to keep as much stuff as safe as I could so that I would have a good feat turn after that. I keep my bees safe. I keep Iona safe. He's able to kill some of the Wolf Riders on the side because of Dahlia, or Scareth rather. He kills some Ravagers, a few more. I think one unit only had 2 or 3 left. The other unit had maybe 3 or 4 by the time my 3rd turn, the bottom of 3 starts. And the other thing that happens on his turn is he's standing, so this is definitely Recon 2, he's standing by his objective and camping 1 at the end of his turn. And when he does that, I start kind of having to sort of poker face because I'm like, Rask on 1 transfer feels to me like Lord of the Feast is just going to have a heyday, right? Like that's one of the things you just don't do. And... But, let's see. So, go to the bottom of 3. I load up Lord of the Feast. I think he's already loaded up. Anyways, I put some corpses on a Ravager, I think. I put Puppet Master on Lord of the Feast. I think that was pretty much all I did before. And then Iona goes, she feats. She doesn't really have anything she can charge in on and get a lot of work done, so she just plays safe. And... then I go for this assassination. I send Lord of the Feast into the objective. He's able to hit it. I am able to Blood Reaper, hitting the Spell Slave, the Rask, the objective, and the Misspeaker that are back there. Kill the Misspeaker, put some damage on the objective. I put 7 of the 8 damage on the Soul Slave. But with my first swing, I miss Rask. Okay, so I'll use the feat to reroll. I miss again. I'll use Puppet Master to reroll. I miss again. Needing 7s, just for anybody who's curious. Okay, buy an attack. This is now down to POW 15. I believe I hit this one. Did like 10 damage. There's the transfer, gone. Then I buy at the POW 4. Now we're down to POW 14. I believe I missed that attack. And so then I have 1 corpse, and I'm like, crap, well, this has just obviously not worked. So I decide I'll use that corpse. I'll buy an attack on the Soul Slave because I should be able to kill it off. I do. I get the corpse back. I buy it on Rask. I hit him again. And I must have done a pretty decent amount of damage there, because at the end result of this was Rask was at 4, had 4 life left. Or maybe I didn't miss one of the other attacks given the reroll situation, but I just didn't do a lot of damage. I'm not exactly recalling. Either way, Lord of the Feast leaves him on 4, and I'm like, well, this is unfortunate. But I look and I realize that I can charge the Chief and 1 Ravager at the objective, and then put the others into the Wrestler over there. Or into Rorsch, I think. Or maybe it was a combination of the two. I'm not exactly sure. And if the Chieftain can kill the objective, which has already taken a handful of damage from Lord of the Feast, if the Chieftain can kill the objective, then the other Ravager is going to be able to redirect the charge into Rask, and he's got 2 corpses on him because he got 1 from Vengeancing. And it's straight dice with the feet, pretty decent odds I can kill Rask. I do kill the objective, but then the Ravager needing 8s with rerolls, I make all 3 attacks, 6 total attack rolls, and I miss. No 8 at all out of 6 rolls. So that was frustrating. But then I sort of looked at the situation. I was like, well, he hasn't really put a lot of stuff on the right zone. I can certainly clear that out. That's going to net me 2 points. Plus I've got the objective. I can absolutely contest his flag, and then I can just attrition from there. So that's the plan I go with. I kill off his Wrestler, kill off Rorsch. I think I kill off the Battle Boar as well. Either that or it wasn't in the zone. Or maybe Rorsch wasn't in the zone, the Battle Boar was. Either way, I clear them off. So that whole side is basically mine. On the other side, I don't think... I think I do kill Scarith, but I can't kill Dahlia because I'm doing it with infantry. I kill the Swamp Horror using Ravagers, basically, the couple that are on that side. And then Call is able to charge the Wrestler that's sort of in the middle of the table. And because he's the prey and whatnot, kill him without much effort really at all. And pass the turn. So I don't remember if he conceded there or if we played out the rest, but basically I went on scenario because he just didn't have enough stuff left. So the assassination didn't work, but the rest did. So that was good. So that's how that ends. Round 2, I am into a Crix player. I think he had Scar 3, Asphyxious 3. Asphyxious 3 is a different type of Slayer spam. He's got 5 Slayers, 2 Inflictors, and Malice instead of the full... No, that's not right. Maybe it is right. 7 Jacks? I thought he had 8 Jacks. Either way, he's got... I think it's 5 Slayers, 2 Inflictors, or maybe it's 3 Inflictors. But I think it's 5, 2, and Malice. And let me tell you what, Malice in that list is a monster. He's got the... And then he's got the usual. There's got the 3 Arc Nodes and the Curse Guys and Machine Wraith. Pardon. And Sephiron, of course. I feel pretty confident with Iona into that. I don't know how I feel about Iona with Scar, but I feel like it's still infantry into Tharn, so I'm probably okay with trying that out. And I didn't really feel super confident in Chromac here, so I went with Iona. He goes with Asphyxious 3. And as a result, this game ended up being very... a little bit of it's a little fuzzy to me. This was on Spread the Net. I definitely made a couple mistakes from just being a little rusty from not playing for a couple weeks, where like I went second and no wait, I might have gone first. I think I went first, but I still forgot to put my Stalker in my zone on the right when there was no real reason I shouldn't have done that. So I'm not threatening to score that zone, which means he doesn't have to pay attention to it. That's bad. And then just some other small things where I don't really, like, just a couple small positioning things. I'm not remembering the details, but I remember really feeling like, oh, you know, as soon as I was seeing him go, like, oh, you know, this thing should have been a little bit here, a little bit there. Additionally, throughout the beginning part of the game, because, I had to be cagey about when I was going to feat, because that's much of the damage I have. And throughout the early part of the game, Slayers generally need 6s to hit. He was using Calamity at times as well, so a lot of 6s needed. And while 6s usually will hit, it's it's in the like 60% range or something. He should still miss sometimes, and basically he never missed a 6 for like the first 2 turns of the game, and I was also making abysmal. Like my tough rolls were not really there, so I sort of lost a little bit more than I should have. Probably played a little slower than I should have, again, that rusty thing. But I was doing attrition okay. I sent a Feral in and warped armor, thinking I could kill a Slayer, even doing so, and then be more survivable. That's not really what happened, so in hindsight, should have warped for strength, just made sure it was dead. Because the repair guys were actually a little closer than I had accounted for. And then as the game progressed, I looked and I was like, well, if Iona can kill this Slayer, I can cascade that to a pretty significant, like, that victory is pretty assured. But I also looked and thought, like, oh, I can just stay at the back of this zone, I can play it safe, and he probably doesn't kill me. But I only have like 4 minutes left, and the correct answer was that's enough time to do the things I need to do. The reality is that I charged the Slayer with Iona and did not do nearly enough damage. Left Iona on either 0 or 1 at the end of all that, and he is able to get an assassination. I hoped maybe he would finally, that he would make a miss on her, she would get to dodge, and then I would actually be okay with the way he approached it, but it was not meant to be. So I lose in round 2, which is unfortunate. I had hoped to do better, as you may imagine. But again, I also sort of went into the event with low expectations of how I thought it would go. Sort of figured I would probably play Iona from there on out. But, if a Chromac 2 game presented itself, I would take it as well. Round 3, I get paired into a fella playing some minions. I'm honestly forgetting one of his lists, but the list he played was Jaga Jaga with a pretty significant gun line, double Croaks, Sacravault, 2 Ironbacks, and some support. I know Totem Hunter. He had 3 Gatorman Husks and the Bog Truck Ambushers minion, I think. Pardon me. And I felt like Iona would be fine there. I felt like Chromac probably could have also played that just because I didn't know that he was going to have the firepower to really chew through it. I could have just defensively feeded because nothing in that list. If I have the heavies in that list that I have, nothing. They don't really need that much help to kill anything. Like, they're going to kill Spitters and the Vault and stuff just fine. So, but I opt for Iona. He does go with Jaga Jaga. I think his other list was Arcadius, actually. Either way, I go with Jaga Jaga, or he goes with Jaga Jaga. I believe I won the die roll to go first. Everything runs up. No, he won the die roll to go first. Everything still ran up. He ambushed 1 Husk and the ambushers. I kind of run up position. I think I maybe killed a Croak with a Wolf Rider early. They ran up far enough that I could like walk up, throw, and be back out of their range. So I did that. And I'm not gonna really. I don't want to go too far through this game. But he comes up and basically doesn't do a lot of work. Does trigger Vengeance on the Ravagers. Both units are pretty healthy. I would say 5-6 Ravagers in each unit. I lost maybe 1 or 2 Wolf Riders. Yeah, and he puts his Husks in some annoying places, but then. Oh, and I make sure to keep Bridge and Call very safe. Their prey is the Sacravault. And to this one, I'm going to do the old make a long story short, but he runs up, he tries to get the attacks that he can against what he can. And in return, I had a situation because rerolls and my dice decided to just be fantastically on my side for this one. They really didn't need to be. I had 1 Ravager killed basically 15 Croaks. I killed his Sacravault. I killed his 2 Ironback Spitters. I killed a few other things. And I wasn't super ahead on attrition or anything, but I did end up super ahead on attrition, but I wasn't super ahead on scenario because he had 1 model that ended up being in each zone. But at that point, he just didn't have. He had Jaga Jaga, a Void Leech, and a couple one-off models. So, like I said, I don't want to go too far into that, but basically I pretty decisively won. And then in the last round I played against Crucible Guard. They had Locke and I think it was Locke and Silvestro. Don't exactly remember. Anyways, that's what he had. It was a really fun game. He dropped lock, which is what I was hoping and what I felt was good for me because I don't really need to cast any spells to do work into his jacks with her feet. I did lose a couple more Ravagers than I thought I would on the approach, but it ultimately ended up being fine. I was able to deal, I sort of had a puzzle to unravel, but once I did it, the Ravagers were in fact able to deal with the vast majority of the jacks and then stay relevant on scenario until I could start getting ahead, and that's how that game went. So I ended that event 3-1. Nothing really notable about the evening there. Next day, slept in. We were nothing, at least that's overly interesting to share. There was a social, actually, that was a lot of fun. Thanks to Tim Banky and Gonzo for hosting that, and anybody else who I met out there. That was a lot of fun. Saturday, ended up sleeping in. Wasn't really sure what I was going to do. I wish I had gotten up and played in the Super Scrambler. That actually, in hindsight, sounded like a lot of fun. Would have been a few more guaranteed games and would have been better timing for me. And then, but didn't work out that way. So, c'est la vie on that. But I eventually get into a scramble really late in the afternoon. It's like 3:30, 4 o'clock maybe when I got into that. Decided I was going to play Morvana 1 because I wanted to try the list out that I built, see what she felt like, I got some of my own experience. I wanted to get a little bit of Morvana experience. So I went with a list that was, it was Morvana, Brenos, Getorix, Pot again, Lord of the Feast again, the 2 Wolf Rider champions, and then Blood Pack, Ravagers with UA, Blood Trackers with Nuala, Night Witch Shaman, I think was in there. Oh, and a Gallows Grove. There was one Gallows Grove. And not a ton to report here, but I played 2 of the 3 rounds. After the second round, I actually had a massive headache and was hungry, so I stopped and went. But round 1, I played into Ossian. Just bear in mind the scenario, and scenarios are one. It's recon for all these, and you only get one list. So I played into Ossian. Felt pretty okay with that. He's got I felt like it would be interesting to see how it would play. He's got 2 crickets. He has what was it, like Hydra, Phoenix, 2 Electromancers, and he's got Halberdiers. Obviously, they're going to get quickened. So I put prey on the Halbs with the Blood Trackers, and I recognize that one of the things I should probably do is keep Morvana safe with shield guards because Ossian has a lot of firepower, and I don't want her to be dead. And then I put my Gallows Grove kind of in a dumb place on the flag on my right. So I end up, if it was back behind the flag instead of to the side or in the front of, I don't remember. He probably couldn't have killed it as trivially as he was able to, and that meant I wouldn't have needed Morvana to be on that flag to score. But after it happened, I thought I can put Morvana here, and as long as I put her on this side, from the looks of it, I should have 5, 6 shield or sack pawns. And since at least 2 or 3 of those Ravagers, I should be totally fine because I'm gonna heal. They'll heal, they'll tough, whatever. But then I put Morvana in another spot and didn't actually measure my sack pawns. So when we pass the turn, he's like, "How many are actually in?" And we measure, and it's only 2, and one of them he can charge with Isian, which he does. Then he decides he's just gonna go for it. So Ossian feats, but Ossian can't get in range to shoot her, which is unfortunate because his gun would have reduced her defense, and then this would have been a much more awkward situation. I probably would have sacked pawned that, but still. So, he sends up his Electromancers. They need 9s. They all miss, even with rerolls, or maybe 1. No, they all miss. The cricket goes up. It has 2 attempts, or 2 shots. That needs 9s. That he's doing the additional dice, so it's 4 dice damage, POW 14 or 16 or something. He misses 1. The other one hits. I sack pawn it off some, sell my 2, and now he's starting to look around for where he can get jacks and stuff too. And a couple of the things that can kind of come close are not quite there, and I don't really remember exactly what happened after that, but essentially he ends up conceding because he's got Ossian on 0 camp in front of my army and did not kill me. So definitely would like to say that was calculated, but it wasn't. Like, I just needed to position better, and had I done that, I think it becomes a much more interesting game, frankly. Probably my best game of the weekend was the one that followed that, and this was into another Retribution player. He was playing Virus 2. I think it was 9 Griffin Warjacks, Discordia, the two Battle Mages units that do the Empower, and then the 3 Arcanists, and Silas, I think. And I'm playing Morvana, so I look. He wins the die roll, which is ultimately better. I definitely want to score first and score last. And the thing about, us circle players have hopefully played at least 1 or 2 synergy casters at this point. And the thing you should start to recognize about all of them is they do not like spreading out. Not whatsoever. Griffins can go to the edge of Virus is 12 inches, plus their base, plus 2-inch melee, and that's the extent of where they can get to. And if he has to go from side to side at all, that's going to skew what's happening. So I basically so you can try to do 2 things. You can try to spread out their army, and you can also want to not give them easy synergy targets. Like, normally where you'd want to sort of like put you want to like send your infantry forward to sort of put a few in the way or trigger vengeance or whatever. You generally don't want to do that into synergy, because that's just going to give them easy synergy stacks. So then when they do missile a loaded up Griffin or whatever at you, you're going to have some trouble. So the only thing I did was basically run my 2 Wolf Rider champion solos as hard as possible up my left flank. In hindsight, the Blood Trackers should have done likewise on the right flank, and the Ravagers and Blood Pack should have just hunkered down in the middle and did what they needed, middle-ish, and did what they needed to do. This game ends up going to 7 turns. I win it by 1 control point at the bottom 7 with a combined total of 4 seconds on our clock. Throughout the game, the Wolf Rider champion and Lord of the Feast are basically able to kill a Jack and a half, or Jack and a half on that side. I'm able to kind of there's a couple times he sends like a Jack in to try to kill the objective, which he doesn't quite do, and then I'm able to kill it with Getorix. He sends another one in to do some work in Ravagers. At some point, I'm able to kill it, and I didn't even cast Mortality. Like, it was just one of those games where I positioned, made sure that I had the ability to recur in the right place, and so on and so forth. And at the end, I was able to clear my flag and contest long enough and hard enough that I was up by that one control point. But it was really a fun game. I really felt in the driver's seat the entire time, which was really good. And yeah, I think if I spread it even more, it would have been a much better game even than it was for me. So that's it. Saturday. The champions had finished by then. Congratulations to Jaden, part of the Line of Sight network. He played Morvana. I think it was Morvana 1 in Devourer's Host, and Kruger 2 in Bones. And in the finals, took down Brett Simon, who was playing Signar with Siege 2. In what was, I saw the end of it. It was a pretty competitive game. So congratulations to him. That happened Saturday. Also Saturday, Chris Green won the Super Scrambles. So high fives for Chris. He is the best man on the low man totem pole. Officially, there's a plaque. It says so. Let's see what else. A local to me, Kirk, got 3rd place in that same event. So big shout out to him. I know he was very excited to finally, sort of like one of his first notable things. So he was pretty happy about it. The Invitational started Saturday night. Few surprising lists knocked out and whatnot. But so that happened then. Sunday we were sticking around till toward the end. We didn't quite make it all the way there, but that was kind of the plan. And I was able to get one more game in. There's a local who had recently moved to Arizona who was able to make it to the con, so we decided to play. And since I hadn't played that Chromac 2 list, I busted it out. He had Silvestro with 2 Railless Interceptors and Vulcan, and then like Halberdiers on the UA guy, and the Arcano Jack, and a Rocket Trancer, support stuff. I won the die roll to go first, which I think made a noticeable difference in that game. And, I sort of run up pretty aggressively, put up Spiny Growth on Chromac, put Vengeful on Getorix, just sort of run up the table. Stand basically at the edge of the zone. I trampled where I needed to as well, or charged and failed where I needed to as well. That's where I get. He moves up. He puts a little bit of chip damage on the Feral and Stalker on the left. Not a big deal. When he passes the turn to me, so now we're on the top of 2. There isn't really anything I'm going to really get any work into, especially with the tough from Morley and things like that. So I'm like, whatever. Sort of just press up a little bit more. I put the shifting stones in front of my army, so there's no good landing places for anything. Cast Bindings again, and hunker down. He, on his turn, is able to get his Halberdiers into some stuff. He's able to use the attacks on the Raelus on my left. He ran a Wild Argus into his zone on the left too, just to be a jerk and be in the way. And so he kills that. He kills, ultimately the Stalker takes a while, but he does kill it. And then, but he doesn't really have any great plays for like Vulcan or the other. A Lord of the Feast also birded the previous turn, birded his Vulcan and went into the backfield and did some damage to Silvestro, as well as killing his Dragon's Breath rocket and Silas. So I was able to get a pretty good advantage out of that. Then from there, like I said, I just sort of shielded my stuff with the shifting stones. He kills the Stalker, does some damage to the Feral on that side, contests my zone with his Arcano Jack, and Gorman's on his flag. So he scores 2 points. So I need to do some attrition work. He also used the one Raelus to spray his own Vulcan. He had feeded this turn, by the way. To spray his own Vulcan to kill Lord of the Feast. He does so successfully. So then I go and I sort of look at the table, and I'm going to have to make some choices. But I feel like I can, if I do it correctly, I can probably clear the circular zone at the very least and kill the 3 huge bases. And that's pretty much exactly what I did. Kermit goes, he kills the 2 Halberdiers, sprints away, has his feet up. And he's got 3 corpses from the thing at this point. Getorix is able to charge and kill 1 Raelus on my left. On my right, the Feral's able to kill a Raelus, cast Primal on the Stalker that's near him. The Stalker's able to go up and kill Vulcan, I think to the point. And then Lightning Strike over to contest the flag on that side. The Blackclad is able to contest the rectangle on my side. I couldn't get a beast over there to score it. And then, as a result of all of those things happening, and my flag and left was tied up by Hutchuck and still has for most of the game. So at that point, he's lost most of his list. I would say I'm in a pretty comfortable place, but I just need to make sure I score, and I do. And then we call it a little bit after that. So it was a fun game. I would have to play it a few more times to see if I think this, but it might just be that list can't punch through enough heavies, and as long as you have enough buffs for them when they get there, they're going to feel pretty good. So that was all the events I played in. At the end, again, would like to... Brett Fogel ended up taking down the whole event. He was playing Kruger 2 and Secret Masters, a list I would suggest that he chose for some specific reasons. So before you think that that's like the go-to Kruger 2, maybe take a look at it and think about it. But also playing an Iona list that he had a lot of practice into. I think he dropped Iona 3 times. He dropped Kruger twice, actually. But congratulations to him for winning the Invitational this year. It's always a big deal. A lot of competition. And then the reason we had stuck around for a while is also that my wife Lauren won the Master Craftsman, or Master Craftswoman, as the case may be, but the trophy says Craftsman, for her 10-day challenge. 4-day challenge, I'm being signaled. It's actually called the 90-day challenge, but it was Ragman. She did a really cool OSL. He's walking under a lamp. He kind of looks like a dude who like you're gonna get a side quest for in like every video game you've ever played. He's like chilling under the lamp, and he's like, psst, hey, like go kill this guy for me, and I'll give you a bunch of experience and a cool sword. And but yeah, anyways, it's a really cool model. She's posted it on all her stuff, so go follow her if you want. on Griffin's Roost Painting on Facebook or .com on her website. Although I don't think she posted this on her website, but or you can check out her stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/Griffin's Roost Painting. YouTube will probably yell at me for that, but I don't make any money on these videos, so I don't really think it matters. Anyway, so that was really cool, and I was really proud of her and really happy that she was able to win. Just means I'm gonna have to step up my game and win something one of these days. But yeah, so that was my Warmachine Weekend. As I said, I will probably be doing... I think this may be the only video this week, just as a heads up. I think I'm busy, I think, every night this week. So the soonest I would get to be recording would be like this coming Sunday. And I need a little bit of time to sort of let my brain wrap itself around a few things. So, but yeah. If you have any questions, you want to talk about any of the new stuff, you can of course hit me up, Cheddar Caveman, on like every piece of social media that exists. And if I'm not there and it does exist, let me know and I'll probably just change that. And of course, as always, big thank you to everybody for Warmachine Weekend. As I said at the beginning. I didn't say this at the beginning, and I'm about 99% sure he doesn't watch this show. But huge shout out to Michael Chili Winners. Every time I turned around, that dude was handing me a pastry or a Danish or buying pizza for everybody at the convention. And, like, he didn't have to do that. Like, he's not running anything, and that was awesome. But seriously, everybody who was there was great. I had a great time. And I'm looking forward to see how it evolves into the future. So, thanks again for watching, and be watching for some more content coming probably next week at this point. Like I said, I recorded this Monday. This week it'll drop Tuesday or Wednesday. So, thanks for watching.